Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 288. As you know, we're going to have a look at the markets, how they developed this week, what kind of setups we had, and most importantly, what can we expect for the incoming week. And it's the monthly candle closure right now, so May is finishing and June is opening up, and we're about to be getting some amazing setups. So without further ado, let's check it out. Let's have a look at the economic calendar. Now, what I see is we're starting the month with quite a couple of economic releases here. So on Monday, we have manufacturing PMI prices and Mr. Powell speaking. So Monday already looks pretty volatile, right? Tuesday, some Swiss franc CPI, JPY speech here, and then some Euro CPI, and then job opening. So also pretty nice and balanced day. Wednesday, we have USD news, we have CAD news, and we have this ADP NFP. So this is the preliminary NFP, which is always volatile, so it always gives in a little bit of volume. And then on Thursday, continuing with the news, the most important here is the Euro refinancing rate, the Euro interest rate decision coming down to 2.15%. They keep cutting it, which is great. But that should be bearish for the Euro, but the Euro hasn't been very bearish. So let's see how this week is gonna go. And then, of course, on top of that, we also have unemployment claims from the US and the press conference. And then on Friday, we have NFP. So absolutely busy week. Every single day, we're having USD news. We're also having some other currency news. So I think actually the first week, usually the first weeks are not my favorite. Anything that is the first in trading is not my favorite. Like, for example, Monday, or for example, the first session, like London session, or for example, the start of the month, right? The first week, the first day, the first session. Usually that is when we're not like getting the real direction and the best setups. But looking at the news this week, I think we can have a nice and volatile week. So let's see the technicals. There are so many prop firms out there, but the one I prefer is FundedNext. First off, they have multiple plans, but my favorite is the Stellar plan because you actually get paid to pass your challenge, which is a huge incentive to treat it professionally. They offer a 95% profit split and payouts hit your bank account in under 24 hours, or else you get paid $1,000. FundedNext offers competitive profit targets and crazy affordable pricing. Like for just $32, you can control $5,000 account on their Stellar Lite plan. It's crazy value and they accept all payment methods, credit card, PayPal, even crypto. FundedNext is well established in the UAE with a strong reputation, rated 4.6 on Trustpilot with over 27k reviews. I trade with them, my community trades with them, and we love them. Now it's your turn. Use the link in the description plus code FANATICFN for 120% refund when you pass your challenge. Before we get started, make sure to join my free school community. It's an absolutely incredible, positive community with a lot of value from everybody. And the classroom here is a full course that I've never shared anywhere. So make sure to join. It's the first link in the description. All right, as usual, we're going to get started with a DXY. Now, I will be starting from the monthly time frame this week because, again, we have that monthly candle closure. And this month, we're creating a monthly bearish imbalance, which is a very good sign for the short sellers. However, you should also be aware of the overall positioning of price and what it also did. So we had this very massive sell-off here for 2 months, pretty much, really nicely selling off, attacking that opposing side of the liquidity. And as you can see, we kind of swept it right that week, the previous month. And then this month we kind of didn't really start pushing below it. We didn't really reverse bullish. If you kind of look into that month and if you just zoom out a little bit, you can see this month didn't do much. All right, it was pretty slow, it was pretty unpredictable, right? Not amazing. Okay, so right now we have that monthly imbalance where the market can potentially start gravitating towards, and we even have one above. But for example, knowing the dollar and knowing how Forex currencies move, they will take some sort of liquidity and it would look very bullish. So here, for example, we also had that two imbalances suggesting, hey, we're going long, but then the market failed to really start impulsing above that high and then just reversed and pulled back all the way down to the opposing side of the liquidity. Now, of course, that could be a little bit more fundamental. Right now, the dollar is really bearish. There are some developments, but they're constantly developments. There's constantly a shift of sentiment. And I do get like a lot of times in the comment, hey, you should use fundamentals. Hey, you should use fundamentals. Well, I'm not a positional trader or a swing trader, right? I'm a day trader. I trade one session. So for me, like, it doesn't really matter right? The market changes every single time, and as it changes, I'm just gonna adapt, right? And price is going to be the first thing that shows you what's going on, and then you're gonna get the news. Because if you get the news and then you're like, okay, this is what's happening, it's usually already done. All right. So again, guys, if you find fundamentals to be helpful for you, definitely go for it, right? But again, as you can see, like the last kind of few weekly candles, like very slow, very slow, very slow. Then we had a flush candle, and then this week again, like it pulled back. It invalidated the new weekly bearish imbalance. That does not give me a lot of bearish signs for us to start attacking that liquidity. At the same time, it swept the previous weekly low. So I don't know. It's not giving me clear direction right now. It looks like the market is right now accumulating for something. It's preparing for something. And this week, honestly, was very, very shitty, right? We kind of started bearish. My plan was to look for shorts, then the market invalidated, and then the plan was to look for longs, but then we had some sort of an absolutely crazy gap up, right? That is the news. Again, the tariffs being ruled as illegal, right? So that was a little bit of a news here that shook the market a little bit on Thursday. Massive gap up, massively going down into that daily imbalance. And right now we're like, this is some strange price action, but a massive gap with an absolutely crazy bearish candle. And right now, Friday kind of didn't really do anything. So, of course, we have liquidity on the bottom here. We have liquidity on the top. Which one is going to get taken? We can make our way to the forward time frame, where also it's like exactly in the current situation and the current positioning of price, it is not super clear what's going on. Like we're tapping into, this is what I told my members on a Friday, like just don't touch Friday, right? Because it's absolutely stuck and it's a super strange market right there. It's constantly making these sort of V shapes, right? Massive move up, massive move down, massive move down, massive move up, right? It's currently a little bit directionless. So if you look at it right now, it's kind of tapping into that daily. At the same time, it has a forward, tapped into the forward, reacted. It's not making anything new. We don't have like something to work with. So again, like as usual, it's not as usual. A lot of times I do have a clear bias, but currently I would just say like let's wait to see where the market's gonna take us. Monday is already looking pretty volatile in terms of news. If you start breaking and closing above that forward reactionary here, then I would start looking for longs, and of course preferably for us to have a bullish imbalance. And then of course if the market breaks below the low and starts giving me some short bias here, breaking this structure to the downside with a bearish imbalance, then I will be looking for the shorts targeting this low. I do not have like even a fundamental scenario right now, like bullish bearish for the dollar, because I just see right now the big guys are just doing some accumulation here or distribution before they make a move. So I would just prefer to wait for the move to happen, and then of course I'm gonna flow with it and catch my piece of it. All right, it's not about trying to forecast these massive moves. It's about actually having a high probability trade during high quality conditions, then of course catching your piece of the pie. All right, so that's the DXY. I'm really not bullish, I'm really not bearish. I would be looking for some breakouts. So let's see how the other pairs are looking like, if they're gonna help us build a clearer bias on the DXY. All right, let's check out the euro. So again, thinking the first thing that I thought about the euro is that it's currently one of the pretty much the central banks that has the lowest interest rate, which technically against the dollar, which is the currency that has the highest interest rate. Usually euro USD should be absolutely flushing, but it's absolutely pumping. All right. So again, this is driven by some other fundamental reasons right now. You can see interest rate differentials right now, not working. But we're having again that monthly bullish imbalance. So is the market going to start gravitating towards it, or is it just immediately going to continue pushing higher? We don't know yet. So of course we can explore what the weekly time frame is telling us. Now the weekly time frame also was kind of very slowly pulling back this month, and then we had 1 week of an expansion, and then this week didn't do much, right? It's not giving me a lot of bullish sentiment to tell me, hey, we're gonna go higher, and it's not giving me even some bearish sentiment because we're having a very big wick here on the bottom that actually signifies longs. Okay, dropping onto the daily time frame again, this week was super tricky again. Like it really didn't play out how I wanted it to play out. So we had like that bullish imbalance, then I said, okay, let's wait for the longs. Then the market invalidated it on Tuesday and then actually had a bearish run, and then we say, okay, maybe we're gonna go short, but the market actually came in to just sweep that low. Okay, and then it printed that crazy Thursday candle, and then Friday nothing. Okay, like looking at it, it's looking a little bit more bullish, right? Simply because if I just look at what has been happening here recently, we have been building a little bit more of a bullish structure, right? This push, and right now we pulled back, we swept some liquidity, and right now the bullish candle, and Friday looks like a pullback for it to continue going higher. So I'm a little bit more on the bullish side, and honestly, I was looking, for example, to go long and target that high and then target this high. But of course, let's just wait for the market to truly show us that it wants to go higher, and then we're still going to be getting a trade towards the major liquidity points. Now looking again on the volatility time frame right here, again, like this sort of price action going up, massively going down, massively going up, and then again you can see we had this volatility bullish and even a volatility bullish here, but then pretty much it kind of made that bearish one. And then again, like this is why I told my team like on Friday, because it was super tricky, like just don't force anything, right? We're tapping into bullish ones. We're tapping, for example, into this massive sell to buy to the left. But at the same time, we're having a volatility bearish, and the market taps bullish, taps bearish, reacts, and then reacts back up. Like it was absolutely crazy. Like again, move up, move down, move up, move down. Yeah. So again, currently, even if I'm doing the extremes right now to be going into the 1 hour time frame, but even here we don't have like any sort of clue, right? The market is even not breaking above that reaction. It's sweeping it. Right, there is no body close above that high, so really nothing right now to tell me that the market is bullish or bearish. So again, we have to be looking for the open right here. I would say I'm a little bit more inclined for the longs, which means DXY shorts. That could definitely be the case. The DXY had a daily imbalance, EU did not, right? But of course, if this one is bullish, again guys, I would need to see the market pop up and start guiding me towards the liquidity. That's it, right? And if, of course, it breaks down and closes very strongly below this swing low, okay, then I will be looking for the shorts and very simply flowing with the market. So that is the current situation, right? I would say I'm favoring a little bit more the long side, okay? But again, like with them cutting the rates this week, I guess that should be short, but I just follow price. This is why I don't follow fundamentals too much, because fundamentals tend to be also a little bit subjective, but price is what pays. Right, so if you understand price, then you're pretty good. So that's EU. Again, not giving me an extremely clear read. It's gonna require a little bit of time for the market to show us its hand. Let's check out pound dollar. So again, coming from that massive swing high here, taking it out, and also creating a monthly bullish imbalance. So kind of all the majors are having that monthly bullish imbalance. That definitely suggests a lot of strength. The monthly candle here is definitely not bad on GU. GU was the overall kind of the strongest pair, but you can honestly see, again, we started here, chop, chop, chop. So we had 3 weeks of a chop, and then we expanded for just 1 week of this month, with just 1 week actually made the move. And then right now we are kind of pulling back after taking the liquidity. But what is also very nice is that we're having a weekly bullish imbalance. So that could be a very good area for potential longs. Again, aligning also, we have a little OB here. And then of course here, I like such types of price action because I'm going to be looking for longs from that weekly. Okay. But if the weekly starts giving me signs of failure, then I will know it wants to go to the monthly. Okay. And then I'm going to potentially look for longs from the monthly. So that is pretty nice. That is pretty clear, giving us a little bit more of a bullish bias. And then dropping onto the daily time frame, do we have a daily zone here? Yeah, we have the absolutely smallest daily zone, so I'm probably just gonna ignore it. But yeah, massively going up, then we go down, and then we just consolidate. No, not much of a clarity, but here I could say I would just like to see price come into that weekly, right? And you can already see it that there is not a lot of bullishness. It's still making lower highs and lower lows, right? If you count it from the top, right? You can just see very simple structure. It doesn't have to be absolutely precise with valid ranges and like marking up and down and up and down. Like if you're actually looking at structure like that, you would still be in this sort of range here, right? But for example, I'm just looking at what is happening right now, and it's been in a downtrend. Okay, like for the first time here, we kind of had a little bit of an impulse going higher with the imbalances, but the market actually tapped into that first one here, failed it, tapped into the second one, it tried, but actually if you have a look at what is happening, the most recently, okay, we had this volatility bearish imbalance here, and this is where the market actually pulled back and reacted here on Friday. And yeah, currently I would say I am seeing more shorts on GU, okay? But I would need to see a little bit more confirmation. Like here, I would even drop to the 1 hourly time frame, because for example, if the 1 hourly time frame starts closing below that low, and potentially give us some 1 hourly bearish imbalance, I would take a short towards that weekly zone, sorry. And then from that weekly zone, that I can be looking for, of course, for bullish alignments. But for that, I could potentially update you on Wednesday. Okay. So for now, like again, unlike EU that was giving me a little bit more of a bullish bias, GU, especially like with that hourly bearish that formed here and seeing it hold and seeing the weekly below us and seeing that everything that could push the market long, right? We have the order block, we have this zone, everything is tapped and they're failing right now. It gives me kind of a little bit of confidence that it's going to go short. However, okay, something could happen tomorrow and during the weekend, some news, some speech, something, and the market can absolutely open and absolutely rocket. Okay, so keep an open mind. Don't push it too much. Wait for Monday to open. Wait to see what price shows you. But for now, I'm going to say I will be looking for that weekly imbalance. So let's see if it comes in taps. Aussie dollar I haven't touched in months right now. Again, so we are tapping into this monthly zone and it seems like we're reacting. Also, if you look at the previous candle, we are sweeping the previous monthly high. Not a lot of bullishness on the monthly candle, and then dropping onto the weekly. It's an absolute chop here, right? Absolute chop fest inside bars. This week we kind of came in to sweep this high. We swept it and then the market printed a bearish. So are we going to go right now for the opposite side? Definitely possible. Dropping onto the daily time frame. Yeah, this one. But again, guys, like, sure, we're having this daily imbalance, bearish. However, look at what is happening behind us. It's absolute chop. So you're literally trading. If I drop a range right now, you're literally going to be trading in the absolute middle of that range, right? This is not good. This is not good positioning for price. And like we also had that long, but we saw that pretty much all the majors formed a long imbalance, but then it got invalidated. And did we take out the liquidity here? Yes, we just pinged it, so taken, and then pulling us back into the daily. Absolute chop here again, like, and then dropping onto the hourly. God damn, this is not good. Yeah. No imbalances here. Again, it tapped into the daily and then it followed through, going lower. It didn't take out the low though. It just stopped very briefly at that low. And then it started reversing. And right now there is really nothing to pull back into. There are no imbalances, so there are no zones. Then of course that leaves us with the liquidity that is resting here. So can we have something like that? But I'm calling shorts right now. I'm not really short biased on Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is an absolute chop right now. It chopped right there. It gave a breakout, and then right now it's chopping right here. Okay, so really, this is not a pair that I would touch right now. But still, let's see, right? This is scenario one where it pulls back to grab liquidity, and then it still goes short. But I'm not short. That's the problem. I'm calling a short, but I'm not short, right? So, of course, if it breaks down and if it starts printing some bearish confidences, then I will be looking for the market to attack these lows. And of course, we also have like lows like that. This is a very nice kind of trend line here that the market can be breaking. There is, for example, a lot of liquidity resting below all these lows. So if we're starting to get some sellers into that market, I think it could flush very nicely. So let me call the shorts. But of course, guys, always be aware of the long scenario, right? The market massively breaking up, pulling back, and then printing some bullish imbalances. And then you can even go for the major highs right here. But I would say on Aussie dollar, I would prefer a bit more shorts because of that daily imbalance here and just because of all the liquidity that is resting right here. I think the market should come down to take out all these lows and maybe come to the extremes, because if you're trading in a range, right now in the middle, the market will like to gravitate towards the extreme of the range. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna call a little bit more shorts on Aussie dollar, but I'm also open up to the long scenario. NZUSD, again, another pair that I haven't touched in years, actually. Monthly time frame, we're having a very small monthly bullish imbalance here, again suggesting a little bit more bullishness, but the overall monthly candle is pretty nice doji here. Now again, dropping onto the weekly, it's absolutely chop fest here. Now we did come to take out the liquidity this week, which is nice, and we rejected away from it. Now, does that mean we are going to go for the opposing side? Definitely could be the case, okay? And then dropping onto the daily. Now here you can see, unlike Aussie dollar, we do not have a daily bearish imbalance. So kind of the last thing we had was bullish, but we're having candle 1, 2, 3, 4, like we're having 4 candles inside that zone. We're also having, for example, this daily sell candle here. That is your demand zone. It's not moving. It's chopping for 3 days. So then if I drop to the 40 time frame, it's an absolute range, right? So again, guys, I have absolutely nothing to say about a pair like this. That's a range. No imbalances. Again, I need to see breakouts. So folly bearish imbalance, breaking structure, guiding us towards, for example, the first low then is going to be this. Okay, or guess what? Bullish imbalances, right? Guiding us towards that major high. That's it. Like that is how you tackle consolidations. You don't expect that the market's gonna go up or down because you don't know. You wait for the market to show you its hand. You wait for the market to actually confirm that it wants to go down, because if you set a sell stop below here and then the market ends up printing a week and sweeps you out, then of course you didn't really get any confirmation. This is why I'm looking for body breaks below these lows with an imbalance, and that imbalance is actually going to give me both a zone to trade from, and it's also going to confirm to me that sellers are in control and they're really pushing the market down. So that's NZD dollar. Like, nothing more to say about it. I have my levels. I'm just looking for the shakeout. Gold on a monthly time frame, pretty perfect doji right there. Absolutely textbook doji. Inside bar of the previous month. No monthly imbalance created, so it's starting to slow down a little bit. And then if you see the weekly time frame, actually, it's been pretty chopped up right here. Now, usually when things chop up, there is going to be a big move incoming. But yeah, we're not getting it yet. So maybe next week, maybe next month. We are, again, let's remind ourselves, we're coming from that weekly zone. We popped up. This week we expect the continuations, but we did not get the continuations. However, we still have all of these amazing liquidity targets. All-time high, this kind of shorter term high, and then we have this high as well. It's kind of building a very nice trend line that if the market kind of, yeah, pretty nice. Well, what's this called? A flag, a pennant? I don't care. But if we really nicely pop higher, it's gonna just explode. Okay. Now it's been a little bit tough to be reading gold, but my community and we took some amazing longs on Thursday. We actually capitalized on that long day here. Again, coming from that sweep of the liquidity here, not really, again, showing us a continuation lower. No imbalances lower, nothing lower. We just swept the previous daily low, and then we just absolutely rallied higher. Here, did we tap? Yeah, we also tapped into this daily OB here, that last sell candle, right, before the big buy. And then on Friday, chopped up inside bar as well. So again, with gold, as with the rest of the pairs, we're going to be needing some more direction and time. Like, we had that very massive bullish move. Again, we targeted that high. And when that high was taken, we see it swept it. So again, the longs here were low probability. And then, of course, we actually opened up and we printed some bearish imbalances, which immediately invalidated further longs getting into Friday. And then we even printed another one that actually gave a short here, tapped in, short, doesn't make a new one, okay? And right now we are ending in, it's a very, even in terms of structure, right, it's a bit tricky because we're making lower highs and lower lows. And then suddenly kind of this looks like we might be shifting the trend. But right now, again, it seems like we might just resume the downtrend. There is nothing much to be looking for down there. Of course, if the market wants to reverse, then it's going to start taking all these lows. But for the bullish scenario, right, we're just going to need some bullish price action, guys. It's simple as that. Currently, it's not really bullish. Actually, the sellers were in control for in Friday here, right? The end of Thursday to Fridays, we started getting some shorts. And right now, really at the end of the week with gold, usually you're not getting a lot of clear bias at the end of the week. It's usually a little bit choppy on a Friday, right? So you have to be always looking for Monday to open up. Don't trade in the London session the first thing, right? Gold usually moves very well in New York session. My community and me are currently working on a plan for actually starting to specialize in gold a little bit more, because these Forex currencies, they have gotten choppier and choppier, right? And as I'm more getting a lot more focused onto futures, I kind of dropping down the Forex pairs a little bit more, and we'll be focusing a bit more on gold. So again, with gold, once again, it's how I also tackle futures. You show up every single day, you read the market, you apply your plan, but again, you don't draw way too many big forecasts like some of you guys in the comments. Hey, gold is going to go long right now and it's going to go here. You don't know, right? You don't know. But of course, you might know, right? But again, no clear buys right here. Sellers are in control, but there are no bullish zones to really push us higher. There are also no bearish zones right now to tell you, right, okay, I'm looking for a pullback into that zone and then a potential short. So again, I have nothing to say. We just need to see where the market's going to open us on a Monday and where it's going to start guiding us. We're in an inside bar, right, which means that we can be getting a breakout, but where that breakout is going to come in, I don't know. If you ask me, I would say shorts, simply because of that very recent order flow, but we see that things change very quickly, right? The market was looking shorts, then it was looking longs, right now it was looking shorts. And of course, if we start breaking, for example, above that high, if we have a closure above that high, then we're going to encounter that zone, and then this zone can cause the market to pull back a little bit, and then it could start rocketing higher if here we form a forwardly bullish imbalance. So that would be like an expectation that I can draw up, but that is just me absolutely forcing it and forecasting something that is absolutely outside of my control. Okay, so let's see what happens on gold. Again, Monday I'm going to be waiting for Monday to print, and then of course I'm going to adapt, and I'm going to update you again hopefully on Wednesday. All right, let's have a look at the JPYs. Now USD JPY, again, you can see a monthly inside bar massively moved up, then moved down. It's not taking any sort of liquidity this month, so we can expect maybe next month to do something. Now, can we draw some expectations from the monthly? Not really, right? I would definitely like the short side here because we just stopped very closely to that low and we didn't take it. And then, of course, we have the previous monthly low right now to target as liquidity. And then we dropped to the weekly time frame. Again, like we had a very slow ascension higher, and then we had the flush 1 week, and then this week kind of reversed. So it's constantly like this crazy shifts of sentiments in the market, massively up, then massively down, right? But again, on the weekly time frame, nothing to extract, honestly. We took out the weekly low, we took out the weekly high, and we didn't really close with a very specific direction. Now, we do have this daily bullish imbalance here that is suggesting, hey, there are some buyers entering here. Now, again, even if you look a little bit at structure, is that a low, a lower high, right? For us to go lower low, right? Or is this like an overall push to continue higher, okay? We are coming from some internal liquidity in the form of that daily low, okay? And then from there, we form that bullishness. Now, we're rejecting very violently here on Thursday, but we know that this is news. And then I see on Friday here, we're getting a very nice rejection from that daily. But not really nice. Then it dropped to the 40 time frame, and again you have a massive move up and then a massive move down. This is happening even across the higher time frames and also the lower ones. And this is why I have been spotting recently that I'm a trader that usually trades, like, for example, only when the daily and the forward time frames are clear. But even if they get clear, it still ends up invalidating them. And then what actually ends up working is like 1 hourly zones and 50-minute zones, like what I have in my program. I call it the specialist approach. That is like really scalping, like going to the lower time frames and really trying to forecast very small moves, right? This is what is really working right now. But right now, again, like USD JPY tapping us into that daily, reacting, got us into the 4H, reacted from the 4H. So right now we're really stuck in a sandwich right there, right? Especially at the end of the week. Again, guys, like I cannot really say what is happening right now because we're just stuck between zones. And again, as usual, you're gonna need to flow with the market and to really see where it's gonna take you. Like, are we gonna start closing above that reaction, but then we're gonna tap into all of these other areas because we have so many of these forwardly bearish imbalances, right? We even have one right here. So if the market ends up into an uptrend, right, you can then look for something like that. Okay, the first sign that I would need to see is a strong break above that high, with preferably with a forwardly bullish imbalance, and then I would be looking, for example, to long it all the way up. But that is a pretty optimistic outlook. That is a very optimistic outlook here. I doubt that this could happen, but definitely it could. Okay, and then of course the other scenario will be a very strong break below that structure here with a very nice imbalance, right, closing below. I think this one is kind of more likely. Why? Because if you look for what is going to be more efficient for price to do, to go down or to go up, where it's to go down, right? There is apart from that daily zone, if this daily zone fails, which we're gonna know potentially fails if we have a very strong closure below that low here with an imbalance, there is nothing to stop it anymore, right? There is the major low, that's it, right? And then we start getting all these lows, right? But for the longs, like, we're gonna have to encounter that very massive bearish push, right? 2 imbalances here, it's further away, right? From current price to the high, it's like 200 pips, and from current price to the low, it's okay. Take my words back, it's still 200 pips. Right? So yeah, you can see it's pretty 50-50. It just looks like it's gonna be a little bit more easier for price to gravitate towards the downside. But let's see. This is why, again, guys, like, I cannot make a forecast right now because I'm literally not sure. Okay, so I'm gonna be looking for the market to show me its hand, wait for new imbalances to form, and then I'm gonna take it from there. And of course, stay tuned for the Wednesday update. Let's have a quick look at the other yens. Now again, monthly time frame, absolutely choppy here. I mean, since October 2024, it really hasn't done anything. So I have no idea why would somebody trade a pair that looks like this on the weekly. Nothing on the monthly, nothing on the weekly. Daily time frame, we got a very little daily bullish imbalance here that the market is tapping in right now. Kind of again similar to that USD JPY longs that we're getting. We're reacting from this zone here. Damn, even the zones are small on these things. Daily bearish, tapping into the daily bullish, tapping also into that last sell to buy. That looks pretty good. And then on the 40 time frame, we are getting that very recent order flow that was bearish, but that order flow got tapped, reacted. So right now, again, what we really need to see is the market to start committing above that high. Okay, and if it commits above that high, then you're going to be taking the liquidity. Okay, so not a bad setup, honestly, just focusing on daily and the 40 time frame. The 40 time frame is currently bearish though, both in terms of structure and in terms of the imbalances. So we would need to see a little bit more of a bullish conviction here. So again, my conviction will be a higher high here on the 1 hour time frame, breaking above that, and then from there you can look for your longs targeting the liquidity. Okay, that is the setup on Euro JPY. It kind of came easy to me, but again, knowing what is happening on behind the scenes here, this is definitely not a pair that I'm looking to trade. But this is how the current market looks like, and then of course, if you start strongly closing above that high, that could expose this high here. So of course, let's see, bullish bias for now. That can give us a little bit more bullish confidence on USD JPY actually. All right, GJ, again, when the pound is strong and the USD JPY is strong, this is what you get on a cross pair like that. Nothing on the monthly, the weekly time frame, also nothing. It's just some crazy choppy candles. Like it keeps going up, but it goes up in a very choppy manner. We took out that liquidity, then we absolutely chopped here last week, and then this week we tried to pop up, but we couldn't take out the bullish liquidity here. And right now, similar again to the rest, we are pulling back into this daily imbalance, but this one looks like it's failing it right now because it actually tapped it on Thursday and then Friday failed it. All right, and yeah, this one looks a little bit more like USD JPY. Very, very, very bearish on the hourly. And then again, like if it will decide to go higher, okay, it actually tapped into this upper one. Okay, and then of course we have the ones above. But this one is not giving me a lot of confidence for longs. Like all these pairs are looking different this week. Tapped in that quality, it absolutely massively rejected. Like also EJ rejected, but it's kind of looking like a high low. This one is already looking like it wants to take out the low. So it even has like a 1 hourly bearish zone here. I don't know. This one is giving me more. Does EJ have it? Yeah, EJ also has it. Yeah, this is also a scalp setup that you can do. If that 1 hourly zone fails, then you can definitely look for the longs. But if it actually ends up holding, right, there is a specialist plan, right? If it actually ends up holding, you attack it to the short side. So let's see on GJ. I mean, I would say I'm more bearish on this one. I really like that massive flush. I like the pullback. I like that this daily zone here is not holding anymore because we actually have 2 candles inside and the second candle is engulfing the zone. Okay, so then this exposes the liquidity. I would say I'm more bearish on this one. That does not resonate with the buys I have on EJ. But again, if this one starts committing above that 1 hourly zone and then eventually it breaks above that zone here, right, then that can give us the bullish bias. Again, guys, like you just have to wait for the open, see where the market's gonna guide you because we might have some surprises on a Monday. Don't rush it, okay? Let's wait and see. All right, let's talk about futures. So starting from ES, the S&P 500 index. So very nice monthly candle closure, closing above the previous candle's high. This is a very nice bullish signal. Now, of course, we still have this monthly bearish imbalance, but we have been in that imbalance for a while now. And also we have that last buy candle here before a sell up. So this is a very strong resistance area. But we can see that the market came in here and it has been staying kind of inside that resistance area right now for 3 weeks. Okay. And the last 2 weeks kind of consolidated. We had a week of a dip. I did buy some stocks on that dip, and right now we popped up this week. Now still below us, we have this weekly zone that the market can potentially gravitate towards, maybe to pull back into it. We even have one below that. But currently, there is also some kind of uncertainty going on right now. Trump, but the volatility around the tariffs right now is already over. right? This is why, again, fundamentals, when something happens, it's like pretty big. But then as the market gets acclimated or acclimatized, I'm not sure what the word is, right? But as the market becomes familiar, let's say it's very simply to these kind of things, it doesn't kind of give in a lot of volume. Like, so for example, Trump tweeted, hey, China is not like really taking it seriously, responding to the tariffs, right? Our deal is not good. The market didn't do much, right? Oh, tariffs are illegal. The market didn't do much, right? So right now the market is a little bit more stable. We ended up the week taking that liquidity here, right? And then Friday didn't do much. I'm glad I didn't trade on Friday because it was a pretty choppy day. But overall, I was profitable every single day that I traded on the futures this week. So finishing the month very nicely. Yeah, here we have a daily imbalance. The market kind of took the liquidity first, then it came into the daily, and then last day we came below the previous low and we swept it a little bit. So I am overall bullish on the indices, but still kind of I even see with the news headlines, they want to throw a little bit more uncertainty. They want to throw a bit more uncertainty. Maybe the market needs a little bit of a dip, right? Or maybe they're just trying to scare out people and then just launch it higher. We don't know. Okay, so I'm really focused on the lower time frames. I'm scalping the indices, but we have kind of the same development here, a massive move up and then a massive move down, right? But again, how I actually approach futures is I'm scalping them. Okay, so it doesn't matter for me like, hey, long term the market's gonna go here, or hey, I have like this quality bullish imbalance, so I'm looking for longs. No, I don't trade this way. All right, I'm always aware of kind of what the market is doing, but I'm never trading from these higher time frame zones. Okay, now of course I will drop this area here because that is going to be a potential struggle area for the market, but I really do like how Friday actually came into sweep that low, which was actually the reaction from that daily. We chopped up, we swept it, right? And right now we're starting to kind of try to recover. So if we, of course, like look at that V shape here, that's a textbook manipulation. And it kind of happens even on the grand scale of things. We consolidate, move up, move down, right, to get it. And then we consolidate, move down, and right now move up. So are we going to continue going higher, or are we going to flip lower? Because it can do both things, okay? But of course, after that sweep, we got a 1 hourly bullish imbalance here. So I'm definitely more bullish overall on the indices. And of course, I will be looking for this week and this month to truly show me whether it wants to go higher. And I'm going to be looking for new highs. Okay, I did buy this dip here. I missed the bottom. I had a buy zone on my index, but I missed it. So I bought it after the reaction. So I think I bought it on Tuesday. So yeah, just Tuesday, just before the pop. So somewhere here I bought it. But yeah, right now it's actually pulling back to the same level. So let's see if the market is going to respond from here and start carrying us higher. And of course, guys, always be aware of the other scenario. What if the market drops right now, breaks structure below that low, okay, prints some quality bearish imbalances and start guiding you lower? Don't be afraid to go short, because then that is going to expose all the way this low. So let's see who takes control, but I'm definitely more bullish right now. Nasdaq, pretty much the same as the ES. It kind of feels a little bit more, it's stronger, honestly. Again, here we have that very nice weekly imbalance to work with. That will actually be a very nice pullback area for us to start launching some bigger longs, okay? Now it's reacting from that weekly. It had a little chop the previous week, then this week it took the liquidity. It didn't really commit very nicely to the upside. It kind of just came in to sweep it a little bit. Rejected, then again it's tapping into that daily right now, and it's also rejecting from that daily. So kind of the key question right now for Nasdaq and ES is, are they going to push from the current price and start making new highs, or are they going to revisit even a little bit lower towards that weekly zone? I would definitely love the weekly zone because I'm gonna buy more stocks, right? But yeah, currently we're tapping into that daily. The market again took liquidity, and again, guys, you can see why I always tell you to wait again for these breaks and to wait for price to establish. But again, I also always tell you to wait for imbalances, because in that case, you can see the market really strongly broke it. It tried to push, right, but it did not form a quality bearish imbalance. So if I don't have an imbalance closing below that reaction area here, then that oftentimes also turns into a sweep. Okay, now of course a lot of times you get situations like that where you still got like a very strong break with an imbalance, right, but then the market just absolutely flipped. These are kind of some very big macro sweeps, right? But if you're looking for like any sorts of breaks, you can definitely incorporate imbalances into them, and that is going to help you increase the probability of actually having a break and not a sweep. Now, of course, we have two of these quality bearish areas. So again, let's see, right? So we're currently getting kind of the structure we have right now is that high. Now, if we again, if we start to strongly close above it with imbalances above, right, and then react and then start breaking higher, that could be a really good setup. But of course, I'm never discounting the downside as well. Maybe the market taps into these zones and maybe finds some resistance, maybe some headlines come in, right, and then maybe we start going short, okay, and if we start breaking and closing below that low with an imbalance, then of course we can look for the weekly. So those are my two scenarios on the indices. I would say I'm definitely more bullish on them, okay, and I will be looking for signs to of course scalp them on the way up. But of course, if you start getting the downside, I will absolutely be open to short, and of course on my investing side, buy more stocks if we come into that weekly imbalance. So YM is kind of lagging behind a little bit. We're having that monthly bearish imbalance that is just being tapped. And yeah, it kind of reacted last week, reacted a little bit. This week it tried to push, but it's an inside bar. Here, like in terms of imbalances, this is kind of a gapped up imbalance, which is not the best. And then of course we have one below us. Then dropping onto the daily time frame, it looked a little bit bearish here. But it was coming from that weekly zone and then tapped into the bearish, but then it also printed a daily bullish one. So this one kind of definitely gives me a little bit more long bias, because we're tapping weekly bullish and then we're printing a daily bullish out of it, sorry. And right now, the last 2 days, we are a little bit chopped up. And then if you drop to the 40 time frame, yeah, it kind of looks like the other two, okay? The fact here is that we already tapped into this one. We took out the reaction, okay? Right now we're starting to kind of become a little bit more comfortable above that reaction. So, but again, I would need to see, similar to the rest, I would need to see it pop up a little bit more before I take longs, because right now we ended up the week in a very big consolidation. There are no zones, there's no momentum. This month we're also getting the contract changeover, but we still have 2 weeks until then, so the volatility could maybe die down a little bit, but of course let's keep showing up and trading our trading plan. So that's that. I think a little bit too many zones that I have here. Like this daily zone I can probably delete. This volatile zone is already taken, okay, and we're having weekly and daily bullish on the back end here. So I do like the longs. I do like the longs on all the indices. We just have to again wait to see if Monday is going to pick up the steam, because we can have like other situations, like again it can come down lower to take some more liquidity, to revisit some of these weekly imbalances that we have, for example, on Nasdaq and ES. But we can see that YM already revisited one of these weekly imbalances and is starting to point higher. So again, I'm more bullish on the stocks and on the futures. So let's see if we're going to start popping higher. DAX is finishing the month very strongly, closing above the all-time highs. So of course we have to be using the lower time frames right now a little bit. We did have a pullback into that weekly zone that the market responded from and already taking out the highs. So the positioning right now is really bad on DAX, because we just came from the weekly, we took out all-time highs, we pulled back on the daily, we took out all-time highs, and you can see right now there are no daily imbalances to push price higher. It's starting to get a little bit chopped up. That can oftentimes start exposing some bearish liquidity, but yeah, and then we drop here to the foliage. A lot of gaps, honestly. Like, yeah, here we had some, I remember there was some news here, the market popped. Gapped up here again, all-time highs, gapped up, going bearish, and right now the quality time frame is also a little bit mixed up. I don't like DAX. As I trade US futures, I would just stick to US futures right now, not really looking at DAX. But quality bearish, kind of came in to take some liquidity. We still have this gap open, by the way, so this one could potentially get filled. We finalized with that quality bullish, but that quality bullish doesn't look like it wants to hold too much. It kind of tapped in here. This is why you should always be exploring the lower time frames as well. You can see where it actually tapped. It tapped and tried, and then it broke. Right, it broke here, and then it went bearish. Right now it's pulling back again, looking a little bit more bullish, but it's not ready yet. It's not ready for the longs. Oh, because I'm missing something very important right now. Actually, the most important thing is this. For the bearish imbalance. So let's see, like I can say shorts into the gap. I can say if that fails, breaks above, longs into all-time highs, provided we have again a strong break above that high with an imbalance, and then from there we're gonna take it. But again, I don't trade DAX, so I'm not really experienced with it, but this is how I would look at it. So let's see what happens. Well, to throw a quick recap, honestly the majors are not closing with a very convincing bias right now. The DXY again, kind of a little bit mixed up. It still looks bearish. It's kind of giving us first signs of longs as well. So I really want to see where the quality time frame is going to take us, and of course wait to show me its hand before I'm taking any trades. Euro USD kind of the same. It's giving me a little bit more of a bullish sentiment on EU, which means shorts on the DXY. And this has been the fundamental sentiment for a while right now. So we probably better stick to that. Longs on the majors and of course shorts on the DXY. GU is giving me some shorter term shorts into the weekly imbalance. So I really do like that setup, but it doesn't align if I'm looking for longs on EU. But let's see, it's reacting from a quality zone. If it starts guiding us lower towards that weekly, it can definitely be nice. Aussie dollar is a very big chop across all the time frames. It's kind of giving us daily bearish vibes from that daily, but then it's not really following through. And right now it ended up the quality time frame very choppy. So I have a lot of scenarios here. We just have to wait. N0 is exactly the same, absolute chop, not a single imbalance here, so waiting. Gold is also a little bit of a waiting game right now because it's starting to a little bit compress here and this sort of triangle. So again, like we have lower lows, then it made a high, and right now it's making a potential higher low, right? What kind of seems like this head and shoulders formation. So let's see, right? The very last price action was bearish. So if we start breaking above, printing some quality bullish imbalances, I would be looking for the longs, but I'm always open for the other side as well. USD JPY also very mixed up. Like we had this very nice pop. So is this very nice pop just designed to take all the liquidity to the left and then for us to start flushing lower? Or is it a push pullback higher low for us to go higher? I'm kind of a little bit more on the bearish side of things. Like if we were to go higher, we have so many struggle areas here that I just think it could go lower. But again, we have to wait for the market to open and show us its hand. Euro JPY the same. Here I'm looking for a little bit more longs, right? And I actually dropped some 1 hourly scenarios here because we're having daily bullish, we're having a daily bullish OB as well, but the quality time frame was bearish. But if we see it starting to fail, it can guide us higher. However, at the same time, GJ is giving me a lot of bearish vibes. It's already failing that daily, it's printing quality bearish, it's holding from these quality bearish, and it's very close to the sell side liquidity. So I would actually say shorts on GJ, while EJ gave me longs. So let's see which one is going to take over. Indices, I'm overall bullish bias on the indices, but I don't do a lot of macro analysis on these ones. I just show up daily and just follow the price action after New York Stock Exchange. But of course, on the macro side of things, I'm more bullish. We have weekly imbalances below us on ES and NQ. So if the market actually starts establishing below these lows and continues to make lower lows, because right now we have like a low, a lower high, a lower low, and if the market really continues to establish here, then I will be looking for the weekly. But if not, I'm just going to continue longing. Exactly the same setup on NASDAQ. And also YM is kind of already tapping into the weekly here, printing a daily. And right now, if you really start seeing some more bullish quality price action, I would definitely be looking for longs. And DAX, like it's starting to chop around a little bit here. Way too many gaps, quality bullish, quality bearish right now. We really need to see where it's going to take us. Okay, so again, patience. As always, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I try to really show you how I tackle the market every single day. Now, of course, it's Saturday. The market is usually not going to give us very clear context and narrative, right? But we show up, we analyze, and we draw some potential scenarios. So hope you are finding this valuable. Let me know in the comments if you do. Let me know how did you finish your week, and let me know what is your favorite pair looking for into next week. And I'm going to hopefully talk to you on Wednesday.